Do something a little bit different in this video, which is I'm going to give you a 100% free consulting session. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the top 5 questions that business owners typically ask me during my typical consulting questions, and then break this down for you. So the number one question that I get asked more than any other is, when should I rag tune versus fine tune? There's a lot of misinformation about this, and a lot of people go into like certain camps within this particular topic. I think a lot of people try to hype up certain products and areas around this around this particular area, and then so this tends to be where there's the most misinformation. The bottom line is that the difference between rag tuning and fine tuning is small at the end of the day, right? As to what the end result for the model. The end result is that rag tuning doesn't actually update the embeddings of the model. It doesn't, and while fine tuning updates the embeddings of the model. Rag tuning updates the prompt embeddings, but not the model embeddings, and that's the major difference. And then so at the end of the day, fine tuning tends to be more accurate and have less dropout and other factors that go into it. But there are 1,000,000% instances where you would want to rag tune over fine tune, especially as a business, right? Let's say that I have a marketing operations, right? And then they want to experiment with a lot of different things. I want my marketing team and the ones that are doing crazy experiments, I want them rag tuning those experiments. I don't want them fine tuning those experiments, right? Like, I don't want them fine tuning the model every single time that they want to do an experiment. Like, go ahead and knock yourself out, hook up rag tunes and do that all day, right? Like, so in situations like that, rag tuning over fine tuning. In situations where I want it to be like, this is going to be, kind of like our Rev A, Rev B, Rev C, whether that be internal or external, then I want that fine tuned as opposed to rag tuned, right? That's going to be long-term success. And then kind of just use your everyday common sense within that, right? Like, is this something that is more throwaway than rag tune it? Like, is it something that's more significant than fine tune? And the other thing that comes into this is cost, right? And then so it could be like, is your process costly to rag tune? And then so with rag tuning, you're passing all of the tokens in every single time, right? So let's say that you're passing in a book every single time, you're paying for those tokens every single time. And so you could be paying, $3, $5 every single time that you ask the model a question and prompt it, depending on the model, right? Like a O1 preview is expensive. And so it adds up, right? And then so second question that I get asked is local and on-prem or cloud and big IT. And then I think my answer to this question might surprise you, right? Like 90% of the time, my personal recommendation all day long is big IT right now. But the number one question that you should be asking yourself is how important is data privacy to you? If data privacy is extremely important for your organization, then this isn't even a question. You should go 100% on-prem and local models and just flat out, like, and then there's no other question, right? If data privacy is less of a concern for you, if costs are more of your utmost concern, then big IT is incentivizing you through the roof right now. Like, I can't state this enough. And so I look at it like cars, right? Like, if you look at like car dealers, they have loss leader models. And it's the same thing right now in the AI market. Like, every single one of these guys, OpenAI, Google, etc., they all have a loss leader model. And then OpenAI's loss leader model currently right now is GPT-o1 mini. And it's, I think, 45 cents per token or per million tokens, whereas it's like $90 per million tokens for GPT-4. And then there's Gemini Advanced 1.5 from Google is like 33 cents per million tokens, like the cheapest one out of like anything out there, right? Like, you can't host a llama model and infer it yourself for less than 45 cents or 33 cents. And then so they're doing it below your costs. And then at that point, I mean, to me, it's pretty straightforward as to what you want to go with. Now, that's not going to be the equation at the end of the day, right? Like forever, right? Equation, they've shown it already, and their model is to incentivize these things like the Starbucks model, right? Like incentivize it below cost until they don't have to anymore, and then they'll jack it up like into whatever they want once they eliminate all competition. So keep that in mind as well. But it's hard to pass up the pricing of these loss leader models. And then, so if you want my pure recommendation, 33 to 45 cents is hard to pass up on. And then, so that's my recommendation there. 3, how do I know what is hype and what I should actually pursue when it comes to AI? The biggest, this is all just about knowledge, right? The biggest thing that I can answer for this and say within this is to learn and sharpen your math theory and understand the math theory and understand the mathematics behind AI, right? Like that's the big thing, right? The very first thing is so if anyone hypes any sort of breakthrough and significance, very first thing I look at is what's the mathematics behind it, and then the second thing I honestly look at is what is the licensing that they're doing behind it, right? If they're making some sort of big claim, we're the only ones that can do this. We have proprietary technology. We're licensing it proprietary to us, and we're not releasing anything about the model or anything about this. I know it's 100% garbage. 1,000,000%. That is the biggest red flags ever that could possibly be raised to me. So it's a proprietary thing, and you're not allowing anyone at all to test it. That's just major BS. So it's just anything like that should throw off your major BS detectors. Within all of this, none of AI is proprietary, right? And I say that like a lot. And then it's all about actually understanding the math and the code behind it, those two things. And then so you should have no problem releasing your math and your code behind things. Release it all the time, right? Because I know 99.9% of the time, no one's even going to look at it and no one's going to understand it and be able to look at it. And then if someone is able to look at it and understand it, then that's gold to me. Like I want to talk to that person and let's have in-depth conversations, right? And then that's like the 0.01%. So why I'm not going to go around hiding anything with 0.01%. And then that's like the mentality that, people should have within this. And then that's the mentality that's winning out within this. And then that opposite mentality, that overhype, that typical corporate mentality is what's led us here to kind of this like a trough of despair type of expected situation with AI at the moment. And then so fourth question that I typically get asked is why invest in AI now as opposed to the long game? And I can't stress this enough how different AI is as opposed to typical software. With typical software, there's a lot of things that come out of it because of the fact that it's better at the end of the day to offload some of these things, right? SaaS, cloud computing, etc. All of these concepts come about because it's better to offload these portions of your software stack, and it's been developed over time that's how that is, and that's how that will develop. When you look at AI and you break down AI, that same equation breaks down differently. It just does. And anyone that breaks down that equation understands that intuitively once they break it down and understand the equation within them. And so what that means is that it's actually not better when it comes to AI to outsource the same things. Like you don't want to outsource the same things when it comes to AI that you would with typical software. You want to in-house those things because those things are again, there's no differentiation when it comes to AI. So when it comes to AI, what gets you differentiation is in-house knowledge, developing in-house knowledge, in-house resources, and developing those things, right? And then those things don't just magically develop. They're not going to, you're not going to all of a sudden have internal data 2 years from now if you just wait for 2 years, right? And that's the equation that businesses face. AI is an augmentation tool. And then so this leads me to number 5. Is AI the same as IT? And the question is no. And the answer to this is no. AI is not the same as IT. AI, again, is for augmentation, right? AI is going to augment whatever your business is. And then so There's a very good leadership philosophy I've been a big fan of throughout my whole entire career: good to great. And then so within good to great, there's a concept of the flywheel and the doom spiral. And then so the flywheel is everything working in conjunction with each other, and then it all operates like a flywheel. And the flywheel compounds on itself, and then all of that like exercise and experience and all of that compounds into interest, and then so the flywheel just spins faster and faster and faster. Same thing with the doom spiral, right? If you just put drops into the doom spiral and then you feed the doom spiral, it's going to go faster and faster and faster, and then so you're going to go faster and faster out of control. AI is going to enhance either the doom spiral or the it's going to enhance either way, either mechanism, depending on which way that you go with it. And that depends on how your organization is set up. If you don't have data, if you don't have a foundation, then you're going to go on the doom spiral. Like, that's just the way that it is, right? And there's going to be no way around that whatsoever. And then so if you want to get on that flywheel, if you want to get on that right track, you have to set up those foundations, and those external foundations, and those foundations are external from AI and they're external from IT, and it's data and mathematics and knowledge, and then so all of that combines to create what is AI overall. And then so to me, AI is 100% different than IT. It should be classed in a different department, especially for a big organization. I would not class AI under IT specifically, right? AI is far more related to science, mathematics, and data, as opposed to your systems and your networks, which makes up your IT infrastructure. And then like 10% of AI comes down to software knowledge and coding knowledge. That's kind of the bottom line, right? And then so that's where the overlap comes in, that 10% overlap. And then you have 10% overlap with a lot of things with IT that you never classify those things in IT. So AI should be looked at as that same way. And then so these are the top 5 questions that business owners ask me during consulting sessions. So this is your free consulting session. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.